Thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Review Channel. As always, please like, share, and subscribe as always. It does help me out quite a bit, and I do appreciate it. Today's video is about how to paint and how to roll a house. I will teach you, basically, I'm not a professional painter, but how I paint and how I roll the house, and you can get an idea of some tips and techniques, and hopefully this video will help you out, and let's get right to the video. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the Review Channel, and today I am going to teach you or show you how to cut and roll paint in your home. So cut the corners with a brush, no taping, and how to roll with a roller. I am not a professional painter. I don't do this for a living. I just unfortunately have moved a lot and painted a lot. So this is just my way of doing it. I want to show you my technique, my strategy, and how to do it. So here's a plain wall. It has to be painted. It's kind of like an off-white. And as you can see, I draped the bottom of it already with the drop cloth. I'll go over the brushes with you. I'll leave a link below on the brush and the rollers that I used in this project. Also the paint pan, paint brand, things like that, so you can get an idea what I did. So let's just get to it. And first thing we want to do is remove that electrical plate. So take all the plates off, switches, take everything off and clear. That way you can easily paint around the objects. And when it's dry, you can put everything back. Easiest way. So there's no taping involved, there's no blue tape, none of that stuff. It's all pretty much freehand, and I'll show you my technique and my strategy. So stay tuned, let's get to it. It's fairly simple. Just one screw. Take it off. Stuff it, just pop it off like that. If it has this is a weather guard, it's like insulation. Take that off and put it to the side. So save all this stuff. Okay, so first thing I do is I have my paint in my, I can show you here. I have this cool container that holds the paint. It has a brush holder. I'll leave a link below to show you what that is. So this gives you an idea. So you can hold the brush here, keeps it moist, keeps everything tight, and then you can put your paint in here. So I'm using like a beige paint, and most likely for this quality paint, one coat will work on the walls. You might have to cut the corners twice. It does depend on the color you're covering and the quality of paint that you buy. So I always try to buy the one coat coverage. It's more money, but time is money, and if you have to do it twice, then you're really not saving anything, because to me doing it twice is ridiculous. So try to do it once, and let's just see how this works, and let's just start cutting around here, and then we'll cut the corners and I'll show you. So you do want to put a generous amount of paint on the brush. The idea, the secret really is to load the brush up correctly and the tip of the brush. So that's really what you want to do. You just start going around. It's a little tough angle here, so. And you always want to just move in a nice fluid motion. And you want to always feather over each other. To basically make it like a box. A little bit more paint. And don't be afraid of the paint. Main thing you have to do is just make sure you feather it out so there's no runs. And that's the secret of that. It's really about feathering, putting enough paint on, and how you do it. So that is completely finished, and that's ready to be rolled all around. And that'll be in good shape. That'll look pretty good when it gets done. And it might need 2 coats, it might need 1 coat, but with this paint, I've been doing very well with it, and 1 coat seems to work pretty well. So the real secret is to load the brush head, right, like this, with as much paint as you can. And you want to just push it back. So keep the paint really to the tip. And let the brush do the work. That's really the big deal about painting. A lot of people are afraid to paint. They spend thousands of dollars hiring professional painters, and it's really not necessary. So let's go ahead and cut this corner on the walls, and hopefully you can see how I'm doing it. And any questions or comments, leave below. And like I said, I'm not a professional painter, but I've painted enough houses, and I just want to show you my technique and how I do things. So hopefully it'll save you some time, and especially money. So let's get to it. So the idea of it is to really have the brush ride on the, so I do is I put a lot of paint up here. Okay, so I do is I fill in the top first, and then I work down. And what that does is it allows me to have more control when I cut the corner of this, between the molding and the wall. So let's just go over that so I can show you. Again, you load the brush, some paint, and you just start. And don't be afraid, it's only paint. Nothing to be afraid of. So again, it's all about the strokes, it's all about the layering and the feathering. And that's how you really get a good paint. So see here, you get close to it, and then again you load the brush again, but not too much paint, right? And then you let the brush do the work. The angle is really about the angle. You get down low, you just cut it real carefully. Let the brush do the work. You can see. Hopefully you get a good shot of this, right? Let the brush, just let the brush do the work. And you just feather that back out. So it's all about the feather. So you can see that's already been cut, and that's ready to roll going up. And I always like to go up here as well, paint up in the corners, and we'll just continue down a little further down. But I want to just continue showing you how to feather the top and then roll it into the bottom of the baseboard. So again, it's all about feathering it in like this here. And when you get close to the switch plate, sometimes it's difficult to get the roller up here. So what I do is I just feather it right in. So what you want to do is you basically just continue, add a little more paint to it, feather it in. So a good paint, good quality brush. And you should really not make too many mistakes at all. And if you do, a wet rag takes care of it. Not a problem. Again, load the brush on the head, the brush, the paint. And then we'll cut the corner so you can see how we do that. Hopefully, I'll try to get a close up so you can see it's hard to do while I'm holding the paintbrush and camera, but I will try. Okay, so I am trying to do this close up so you can really see what I'm doing. Okay, so you get the idea. Brush head has paint on it, right? And you kind of let it roll. So I'm kind of watching the camera and watching you at the same time, but forgive me if I'm out of focus. And you'll just let it roll down to the bottom. See how the brush just does all the work. Then you just feather it in the top. And you can see that's an awesome cut. So that looks good, right? Let's just finish down here. So it's all about the roll, it's all about the brush. Let the brush do all the work. And you can see that I want to cut into the corner, and then we'll go from there. And let's see if I can do it while holding the camera. Again, it's much more difficult holding the camera and painting at the same time. All right. Hopefully you can see. So what I do is I go up the walls like this, both sides. Okay. What I do when I get to the bottom, I let the brush cut the corner. You can see that. Let the brush do the work. You can't make a mess. You can't screw up because you can always take out a little bit of water. And that's how you cut the corner. So the corners are easy. All right. Then you just fill this in again. So we'll just do this. Let's just fill this in. We'll get a good look at everything after. Right. So let's see. So I'm doing this. I can't do it kind of backwards here. You can see with the brush. Hopefully you can see the brush do the work. And just roll it out. And you can see. Right? What do you think? Pretty good, right? Okay, so now, as you can see, I'm going up the wall here. So hopefully you can just, I'm gonna finish up this corner. Just get both sides, right? And we'll just cut this little corner like that. Finish over here. Hopefully everything's in frame. So I'm going to cut this windowsill underneath the windowsill. Again, same premises as the bottom, as the top. There's no difference between ceilings, and I'll show you a ceiling and the bottom. It's really about loading the paint on correctly, okay? Getting the bottom of it first. So what you do when you feather up, the same thing happens. It just becomes easy to spread. You don't have to worry about, loading out the brush. You don't have to worry about overloading the brush too much, just not too much, and then just let the brush head do the work. Hopefully you can see that. And then you just feather it out, that way there's no drips, no runs. Okay, so that's awesome. So I got my paint, and I got my brush. Same thing with the ceiling. Okay, so we take this brush, and we cut the ceiling the same way. Hopefully everybody can see. Again, we just lay it in the bottom, right? It's all about layering and feathering, okay? And you get to the top, just let the brush do the work. let the tip of the bristles go up to the top of the ceiling and roll it right in. You see? Hopefully you can see the contrast difference. So let's down here. Feather it in, okay? So it's all about layering, feathering, and let the brush do the work. That's what it's about. So you cut all the corners, you cut everything up. You just saw how I did the bottom, and then we'll get into the roll. Let me finish cutting all this, and then we'll roll it, and I'll show you how to roll. I cut that part in already. You can see this is all cut in up here. Hopefully you can see. Cut a block across this wall here. And down, back to the outlet. So now we're going to roll this section. As you can see, I use a rack. You can get those at Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever. They're pretty cheap. I'll leave a link below so you can see where to get it. Always mix your paint. Give it a good swirl. And I already mixed it once before, but I'll just show you. It's about 3/4 empty, and then almost finished up here. So you can rinse this through the paint like this. You just tap it in. And then really the good secret is to give it a good swirl like that. If you can see, all the excess paint just kind of flies off. That avoids a lot of drips. So that's how I load. Again, I'm not a professional. So this is how I do it. Let's see. Now again, I'm holding my left hand and rolling with my right hand. So I'll back up a little bit so you can see how I do it. So it's just like this W like we talked about. Okay. As you can see, we get close to the cut. What happens? It just starts to roll magically, just fill it in beautifully. And you can see we give that extra space for yourself. You can really have plenty of wiggle room. I like to call it forgiveness, because a lot of times, as we're rolling, something happens, the bell rings, your phone goes off, and boom, you hit the ceiling. So this way you don't have to worry. You got plenty of space. Like that. And you just feather it in. Again, we talked about the feathering, and that's the main thing, is the feathering. So let's back up and look at that. You can see how it's looking. It's all cutting in nicely. So that's how I cut corners and roll. Any questions or comments, please leave below. I appreciate it if you like, share, and subscribe. It does help me out quite a bit. I hope this helped you. And that's what we're all here to do in the community, is to help everybody how to do things. And that's important. Okay. Well, thanks for watching the review channel. You have a great day, and I hope you learned something so you can save time and especially money. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. Appreciate you viewing the video. I know it was a little long, but I hope you learned something. So it's so important to save yourself some money and how to learn how to paint. You buy your first home, you're doing your apartment over, you're moving in, so forth. So please, if you like the video, please share it, please subscribe, please like. I do appreciate it. I hope it looks good to you. I hope it wasn't too complicated. If you have any questions or comments, just leave below. I'll try to answer all the questions I possibly can. I really appreciate your time. I hope you learned something, and the most important thing is that you save money, because painters charge a lot of money, and it's really pretty easy to do it yourself. So I hope you learned. I hope you liked the video. I really enjoyed putting this together for you. Just give you this is the finished product of just this corner here. Roughly took me to do this little section here about 45 minutes total. It does take a little bit of time, but patience is important, and that's it. All right. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll talk to you later. See you at the next one.